we are going to make some tempura sweet potato. Now, for ease, having a household fryer is beneficial, but again, I understand that is not accessible to everyone. So a wok is perfect. Wok on the hob with some oil. Only thing to be wary of is the heat of the oil. Having that amount of heat, it can be quite dangerous. So be careful around it. Be mindful of the hot oil can spit. Keep a fan on if you've got a fan above it, but it's an easy process, so it will be absolutely fine. What we're going to do is we're just going to peel the skin off the potato. Now there's 3 stages to tempura sweet potato. We are going to pre-cook the sweet potato slightly. We're going to fry it once, and then we're going to fry it twice. So what we're going to do is just take off the skin. We're just going to cut down the center, and then we're going to cut around centimeter strips. Now the reason we are pre-cooking this is if we were to fry this directly in the batter into the oil, the batter would cook, the potato would be raw. So we're just going to pop that into the oil. You can set a timer so that you don't forget about it. It's going to take roughly 5 to 8 minutes. And we're going to leave that, and we're going to move on to something else while that's cooking. So to be able to make our tempura sweet potato, we need some batter. So you can make this flour yourself as a mixture of corn flour and plain flour, a little bit of bicarb soda. But today we're using shop-bought tempura flour that again can be bought from the any local Asian supermarket or online. We are going to whisk this with some carbonated water. The reason we're doing that is it creates air and it allows for the lightest of batters, and that's exactly what we want with the tempura batter. We don't want it to be heavy, we want it to be nice, light and airy. So we are going to take, per 1 cup of flour, it's around 1/2 to 3/4 of a cup of water. But what we're looking for is a pancake batter consistency. So something in between of not too thick like an American pancake, something nicely in the middle. We do not want any lumps in our flour. So we're going to start just adding it in nice and slowly. Giving it a good whisk. If you wanted to add a little bit more flavour in at this point, by all means, you can add in some paprika, some garlic, some chives, some sesame. Again, you're the creator of these dishes, so you decide what you want to be doing. So we don't want any lumps if we can help it, but as best as you can, we would like as little as possible. Perfect. So once that's done, we're going to put it to one side. Right now, the sweet potato is cooked between 130 and 150. At this stage, we don't want to add any colour. We are just slowly cooking the sweet potato so that when now we pop it into the batter, we can crank the heat up and we can get it nice and crispy. At this stage, we're going to cook it twice to get it extra crispy. So right now, I'm going to up the temperature to around 160 for the first phase. And then for the second phase, I'm going to put it up to 180. Again, this is transferable to if you're using a hob. You can just measure the temperature of the oil. So I'm just going to take it out of the oil, pop it in onto some kitchen paper on a tray. At this stage, if you want to let this cool down completely, absolutely, it can be very hot. So let it cool down completely before you then pick it up and put it into the batter. So what we're going to do is we're going to move and go quite close to this because it can get quite messy. I'm just going to move this just slightly. So what we're going to do is we're double dipping. So for this first phase, we just want a small coating. So dip it straight into the batter, nicely coated, and then directly into the oil. And you're going to repeat that for each piece. You're going to let it cook for less than 2 minutes because we don't want to cook it completely at this point. We just want there to be a little extra coating on the outside before we then move into phase 2, where we crank the heat up and we dip them again. So we're going to go for around 60 seconds. Okay, so we're going to take it out, the oil, each one, pop it back into the batter. And then we're going to go again. Now remember, at this point, we're cranking the heat up again. And this is the final time we are going to fry. Now this is pretty transferable, so as I mentioned to you earlier, if you don't like sweet potato, by all means, you can use any ingredient you want. You know, there's so many different vegetables, tofu, that will work perfectly with this technique. And then we're going to leave that for a couple of minutes while it gets really nice and crispy. So use this time, clean up your area, get yourself ready to go, and then we get to move on to the skill set. These have been in for around 2 minutes, and if they need to be turned around at all, we're just going to turn them over. And then I'm going to pop them down for like another 30 seconds. Right, so these are done. I'm just going to drain off the oil, and we're going to pop them into our pan and just pop them to one side for now. We don't need them for the moment.